By the way, there's an underlying alchemical system here that I should spell out. I don't know how long this thing's going to go on, huh? I'll just keep talking for a while. Let's see, take a look at how many we're up to here. We're up to, well, I think I could keep going a while longer. Yep. I could still go for another 227 minutes if this thing is right. Well, might do that. Anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah, alchemy. Let's lay out here the alchemical context here, because I'll be referring to it all over the place. In terms of this dialectic of thesis, antithesis, synthesis, all right? In terms of the tree of life, the left side, the right side. We already said that some idea comes on the left side, contact moment. Let's say I'm aware of this. I'm aware of you're sitting out there. Okay, that's a moment of awareness. The other person says, I'm aware of you sitting out there. That's a moment of awareness. Each of those moments of awareness is the beginning of a river here of x minus x. So that's you might say that river is like water, alchemically speaking and phenomenologically speaking. That's water. Then when we get to the place later on, we have a big argument and impasse. Oh, you're crappy, I hate you. And the other side says, oh, you're a monster, I hate you too. So then we get to the point of view of the two opposites, x minus x, becoming extreme, hypertrophied into an impasse. That's alchemical earth, a big clog. All this flow of awareness moments has gotten clogged up. So we shifted from water to alchemical earth, the second element. You might, some people, in terms of the Kabbalah, sometimes they say that Abraham represents the pure flow of awareness moments, and Isaac symbolizes the oppositions stuck. So Abraham did, should I kill him? I shouldn't kill him. That kind of idea metaphorically is represented a lot of times by the antithesis is represented by Isaac in the process. And then to get to the synthesis, Jacob, the higher integration of these two, we need to pass through the moment of not knowing, the moment of the void. So the moment of the void is the moment of air. Air. Why? In the sense that there needs to be a place of no thingness, where nothing is, there's no things, no x's and no minus x's, it's just a void, empty space, where I don't know, do not know, not knowing, no thingness, and that is in a sense an empty space from the point of view of the fullness of the ego trips. And so that's an empty space. And then into that new empty space comes the new idea. Remember, the gate, the two sides of the impasse are the gate, and then the new idea coming out of the void is the chokhmah, and that opens the gate. It negates the gate, actually, negates the two sides, and then burns them up. That's the Kabbalistic idea of fire. So the fourth element is fire. So now we have the water, earth, air, and fire. It's laid out as a cycle going around counterclockwise, just the way I just laid it out. We could have imagined it the other way around. But anyway, those four, from water to earth to air to fire, is the same thing as from x to x minus x to void, which I represent as a 0 on my little cryptograms, to y, which is the new idea, the fire, which burns up, which negates the negations of the one without a second. So we started out with a oneness, x, we got negated that to get to the x minus x, and then we negate the negations through this dialectical thinking process here, Tzimtzum moment. All right? That's a kind of a pyrotechnics way of thinking of this, but in Gestalt therapy, it's a lot simpler than that. Also, you can look at the same thing as, for example, if I say I am aware of this this pencil sitting over here. I've just taken a gazillion little awareness micro moments and integrated them into a pencil. Now, I didn't go through the whole dialectical cycle of the four elements there explicitly, but it happened, you might say, unconsciously. But what I did was just have this one big moment of collecting all these awareness things into one idea, one gestalt, one phenomenological moment. And so we don't have to think of it necessarily in terms of breaking it down into that explosive kind of process. But in a sense, also, the Gestalt therapy process of constantly integrating moments of awareness is this kind of all constant explosions into authenticities. And Fritz Perls points out that these don't have to be big explosions, but they could just be little micro moments of explosive process, in the sense of always breaking through the narrower deductive boxes we're into and seeing the bigger patterns, the gestalts. All right, there's endless ways of talking about this stuff, but I don't want to get bogged down too much, although the digressions are important here also. Now the crucial question is, what does this tell you? Does it tell you anything about what you need in your life?
Yeah. Okay.
What would that be?
I probably need to be closer to people and so I can share more of like a loving feeling.
Alright, that seems to be a pretty clear idea. Now just keep your eyes closed and now thinking, we got to come to the end of the session, you know. I'm sure we can go on if we wanted to, but looking back at the overall session now, the whole session, alright? Keep your eyes closed for a moment. Stay with that image and look back at all the other things we did from the very beginning and think of the other images and how you got to the path that you went to get to this point, you know? And do you see an overall message, overall direction, an overall shape, any way you could put it, that you're getting from this work today?
Yeah.
Can you say what it is?
I feel that I'm gaining a better understanding of myself and what I need.
Which is?
Balance. As far as the awarenesses go. And maybe be closer to people. I don't know, that's it. And not be so like into myself, into just one awareness.
Ah, okay. In other words, somehow the more balance in the outer and the inner somehow could help deal with that by being more in touch with the people out there. That's a way to get closer to them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so.
If you see them and hear them, then there's a better chance of being able to relate to them. right?
And I used to be more that way. I think in the last year, just a lot has happened. I moved to a place where I knew no one. I've lived here almost a year now.
Okay, that's good. So you get a sense of even though we're dealing with and it serves to look like we're dealing with a million different tiny moments. What does this moment have to that? Without trying to figure out logically how this leads to that, but somehow you can see some kind of a sense of how there's one big gestalt here. Gestalt means a pattern, one big whole. That message that comes together for you.
Yeah.
Can you say a little more about that overall message again?
When we balance everything out, the awarenesses, then the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I guess each part, we just work on one thing at a time and don't worry about the big picture, and then it all comes together.
Yeah, that's it. Right, isn't that more or less what they say in acting classes? Go in to the moments. Play the moments, and don't play the idea about the scene. Right?
Right.
It's exactly the same thing. That's where it comes from. Play the beats. Each of the moments is a beat. Each beat is a void where anything could happen. If you stay in that moment, if you're into religion, you could say the Messiah could come at that moment, or whatever you want to say. The revolution could come at that moment if you're a Marxist. So the phone could ring at that moment. Then you're happy. Yeah, that's very good. That's a nice way to put it. Yeah, I agree with you. That seems to be a... Okay. And what about all that heavy stuff that was happening that we didn't really deal with? You know, that could have been a whole session there. Do you see how that fits into it somehow? That somehow it's...
Yeah, it's all related.
And what is this? Somehow you're not so uptight now. You're not crying now, right? You stop crying. So what is it about the big picture that helped you stop crying? Somehow you got more grounded now that you don't feel so helpless. Somewhere you're getting some strength from. You're not just collapsing all over the place, right? You got some strength. Now where's the strength
It doesn't
from?
seem so overwhelming, I guess, because it's just working on little things to make everything better.
Say that again. I want to be sure I get that down. Say it again.
Working on little things, and then the big picture becomes better.
Okay.
Because that's the thing. Sometimes I overwhelm myself. I try to do a billion things at once. And an acting teacher even told me that when I focus on the little things, then it all comes together.
Yeah, going for one big idea. They say, not the whole turkey in one bite. Gulp. Do you ever hear that expression? These are things I remember acting teachers. So I used to watch acting teachers and take notes of what they did. One teacher said, not the whole turkey in one gulp, you know.
It's kind of like a long journey begins with a single step.
Yeah.